What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. Hope you are having a great one as always. Today we're going to take a look at Captain Rex from Hot Toys. Now I did try to do an unboxing video a moment ago, but it took me like 4 minutes to shimmy the box open because it just didn't want to budge. So I kind of scrapped that. So we're just going to save some time, start fresh, and pretend we're unboxing them. Now the outside of the box, just for those that want to see, you do have this really cool little band that they've been doing on all of the Star Wars figures recently. It does stretch around the sides, and you get the cool little action pose of Rex right there. Now they also do have another insert on the inside, which, for those wondering, looks like that. It is pretty cool. I don't really like the binoculars on him. I think it's not the best look for Rex, but still some pretty neat art. Always fun to have, so kind of a nice little throw in there for you. But on to the actual important part, which is the man himself. Now I am a pretty big Captain Rex fan, so I might geek out a little bit while we go through this, hopefully not too badly. He does come with a good amount of stuff, as you can see. We're going to kind of quickly take a look at this. We'll open the tray up in a moment, but you get his the jetpack with little fire effects, so you can have him blasting off. You do get a standard blaster rifle, both of his pistols, and a little pouch there. I am honestly not sure what this piece here is for. It's definitely a connector of some sort. I will probably have to take a look at the instructions because it's not brutally obvious to me. It almost looks like a wristwatch, which is kind of funny. I know it's not that, but I'm really just not too sure. But we'll take a better look at those in just a moment. They are, of course, taped closed, which tape is usually the bane of my existence. But I do conveniently have a handy knife, so we can go ahead and get that untaped. Now the figure itself, as you can see, does come with a couple different head sculpts. He's got the standard helmet, the Ahsoka Tano Soldiers Brigade, and then a pretty decent head sculpt based off Tamura Morrison. I probably pronounced his first name wrong. That's okay. He won't see this, so I don't think he will mind too much. Now that head sculpt I actually have some issues with, which we will take a look at in a moment. It might not be as bad as the photos that I've seen, but it is one thing that I'm concerned with. So why don't we go right ahead and just start with that. Okay, it's not as horrible. It's still pretty bad. One thing lately with Hot Toys, Endgame Cap is a really bad one. This one's also pretty bad, but they have a very noticeable seam that goes across the top of the head, which honestly I understand why it's there, but for the quality of Hot Toys it shouldn't be, I guess, is kind of the way I look at it. Because you don't necessarily get it with a lot of third-party stuff. And really it's not terribly noticeable. The Endgame Cap one, it sticks out like a sore thumb. This one's not too bad, to the point where really if you didn't know it's there, you probably wouldn't notice it. If I did just ruin the figure for you, I'm sorry, because now you're probably going to not be able to unsee it. But man, that's pretty killer. They really nailed the likeness there. There you go, give them a little smooch. They honestly did an amazing job on that. That looks really, really neat. I am thinking about getting an animated head sculpt commissioned. If you're interested, check out Watto's Scrapyard on Facebook. They do some amazing stuff. So I might end up going that route, but this one is pretty dang impressive, I gotta say. I do like that. They did a good job with that one. Honestly, though, I am going to be keeping him with his main helmet pretty much the whole time. I don't really see myself using the normal head sculpt at any point. I might put it on something else. Maybe the Starship Trooper. Who knows? We'll have some fun with it. They did a really good job with this figure. Although they also wrapped his hand really good in plastic. Okay, there we go. Alright, so one of the first things that I want to show you, and that really impresses me, is that they did the Weld Lines. So if you aren't overly familiar, Captain Rex, get up there, it's so cool. So Captain Rex kind of gets a little bit of luxury being Anakin's best buddy. and he modifies his armor throughout the series. So he actually has a Phase 1 chest plate and a Phase 1 visor that's been welded onto Phase 2 armor. And the cool thing about the chest plate is there's actually a scene in Rebels where he's still wearing it and he makes a comment about how it'll stop anything. So it's just kind of fun that he's kept that same chest plate throughout pretty much his entire run in the Republic. Now they do have the J guys up here, which is also really cool. That's like a Mandalorian battle symbol. It's like a symbol you earn for honorable fighting, I believe. I don't remember how he earned them. One of you fellow nerds can probably point that out in the comments. But he also does have his tally marks up here. There you go. Now there's a lot of discussion as far as what those might be. Most people would assume kills. He does also have some on his hands. But at one point he does have a conversation where he mentions that he's killed like hundreds or thousands of people and he's kind of lost count. So I think it's more than likely. I've seen the thought that these are fallen comrades, which, knowing his personality, would make a lot of sense. I could also see these being like successful deployments or battles. But either way, it's cool that they added them on. Definitely neat. And I love that they did that. And he does have some really cool little fabric down there. And just overall, the armor is absolutely gorgeous. They really did a good job with him. Now, I am a bit concerned with his mobility, which we'll play around with in right now. So this arm's obviously going to be held up a little bit by the pauldron. There's nothing you could really do there. But it does seem like it's got a decent amount of mobility to it. This one's also going to be blocked a little bit just because of that shoulder pad, but you can get a pretty good range of motion out of that. He does have the nice, very stiff jointed elbows, which is good. Hi. So he'll hold basically any pose that you want. That's one of the really good things about Hot Toys is their joints are always, from my experience, pretty top-notch. He's got the double jointed knee, again, nice and stiff. He's got some more tallies down there, which is fun. Pretty good flexibility on the ankles as well. So honestly, as far as the mobility of him, one thing I want to check too is the legs. Lately, Hot Toys have not had a ton of leg mobility. Okay, you can basically do the splits. That's pretty cool. And it does seem like you can move his legs forward quite a bit. Now, it is like a ratchet in there. It's not plastic or anything, so that noise is nothing breaking. Don't worry about that. I'm really impressed by that. They did a very good job on him. Bravo, Hot Toys. We're going to go ahead and stand you off to the side. Oh, for those wondering, I guess I should have done this as well. His little rangefinder here is mobile, so you can adjust that. And then you can take that off if you want to do the electro binocs or the torch, which we will take a look at in just a moment. Hopefully stand him up here. Now we can basically just start the timer on how long it'll be before he tips over. You would think I'd be smart by now and put him in a safe spot, but that's not going to happen. So there's the binocular attachment. Again, I hate these, so I'm probably not going to use them. Rex obviously does use them in the Clone Wars a bit, but it's really not my cup of tea. And then kind of the same with this, which is the little flashlight torch that they've got. Which this one I might end up getting more use out of than the binocs, but really it's just going to kind of stay right there. He does come with a bunch of extra hands. I honestly don't see a need to pull them out because they're just hands. Guess we could take a look at one. They're going to attach real easy with standard wrist peg. You do get a couple extras in case you happen to break one, which is bound to happen with some of the figures over time. But they did do a really nice job with the paint on these. And I love that he's got a pointing finger. That's fun. That honestly amuses me a lot more than it should, and I'm glad that's the random one that I pulled out. And I do want to take a quick gander at the base for him. because they were kind of nice. It's a little bit decorated, kind of the bottom of a spaceship, basically. You know, nothing too fancy, but looks pretty good. Got the nice nameplate there. He does have one of the mobile flight stands, so you can get some pretty cool poses out of him, specifically up in the air if you wanted. Just take a look at this one. Now this is another one of those helmets that are head sculpts, I guess you could say. Probably not going to see a ton of use. I might pose Rex holding it. I've also considered getting a bunch of extras of these done, just so I can kind of make that a little cemetery funeral scene, because I think that would be a cool way to display him and eventually Ahsoka once she arrives. So I might go that route, but I'm probably not going to use this unless I buy one of the clone troopers, like they've got the battalion officer that's out. I might grab him and throw that on there just for giggles. But all things considered, not a top priority. Now, one thing I do want to look at real quickly, the jetpack. One thing they did with this is it is magnetic, so we'll go ahead and plop that on him real quick just to see how it attaches. The little thrusters you just push right in there if you want them on or off, so that's kind of a fun little effect that they added there. Now I'm hoping that this will be easy peasy. We will find out right now. Ta-da! Yeah, that's very easy. And it's nice and snug. It's a good strong magnet, so it'll stay on pretty easily. Shouldn't have any problems there. And again, this is how Captain America's shields should have attached. Just saying. Really, really impressed with this, though. Honestly, they kind of crushed it with him. Now, so far when it comes to Hot Toys, just to be completely honest, got a couple Marvel ones and a couple Star Wars ones. The Star Wars ones have been amazing. Really have been blown away by all of those that I've gotten so far. Marvel ones, some have been good. There's an up-close look at his blaster, which is pretty dang cool. They did some really nice weathering on it, so it's got a really good metallic look to it. More importantly, with Rex, you're gonna have him dual wielding these bad boys, and these guys they did a good job with. Pretty spot on to the way they look in most versions of media, whether it be the games that you can get them in or in the actual show itself. So I'm impressed with that. I like them. And the fire effects really aren't anything special, but they are going to do the job. And honestly, they'll look really cool once you have them displayed. I don't know if I'll end up using them. I probably will at some point just to play around with them, because I do think they're cool. But honestly, not the most amazing thing in the world to me. I will go ahead and plop one in real quick just so we can see how easy they go in and out. While I do that, if you are thinking about getting one of these, I got mine from Sideshow Collectibles, which you can still get him pretty easily. Alright, so it does take a little bit of force to kind of twist him in, but not hard at all, and that really does look pretty darn cool. Sideshow's got him, Big Bad Toy Store's got him. He's pretty much available all over. I don't know if they've got him in stock at 1/6 Outfitters. Might want to check there. I like sending people over their way because they're, support the small businesses when you can. But honestly, Big Bad Toy Store and Sideshow you can't go wrong with. So worst case scenario, if you want one, go there. I also do think this is a good one to get just to flip. The price of Commander Cody, to me, is a very good indicator that Rex is going to be a pricey one once he sells out. So I'm going to probably pick an extra one up myself and just kind of leave it in box until that time comes. He'll probably do what Mysterio did, which, if you aren't aware, the Mysterio's figure sold out. Kind of shocked a lot of people when it was all of a sudden out of stock. And once that happened, he went up to like the $350, $400 range pretty quick. And I kind of have a feeling that's going to happen with this guy too. So might be something to consider. Obviously, don't do it if you don't have the money to spare. But if you do, he's probably a good one to pick and flip. Kind of my recommendation on that. And he's just a dang cool figure regardless. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you like the Rex, might want to do it. I do think he's going to be probably a lot more desirable once Ahsoka's out. Definitely once Ahsoka and Maul are out. I think there's going to be a lot of folks that want him to complete that set. Also, I really think when the animated Anakin comes out that Sideshow's doing, I almost feel like you kind of need the two of them together. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that I think want him later on, or that kind of want him now, but just haven't decided to pull the trigger. And when he does sell out, I think they're probably going to be at a position where you might have to pay some extra. So if you are thinking about flipping, you may want to give this one a go. That'll do it for now. Definitely love the figure. Definitely recommend it, especially if you're a Hot Toys fan. I'll try and find out what that wacky white piece does. I'm sure it's a clip for something. It's probably in the instructions, and I'll leave a comment below once I do. Thanks so much, y'all. I hope you have a great one. See you next time.